Hi, I'm Don. Today we talk about our Veronica Kickstarter. In this video, I'll show you the test painting of the test print with Speedpaints and Warpaints Fanatic. This will not be the source of the tutorials in the Kickstarter because this is just the test painting. Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my channel. This channel is supported by all these awesome brands. Also, special thanks to my patrons and the Army Painter for making this video possible. Like I said in the intro, this is just the test painting of this test print. This test print is a test print because it's just 50mm. Our Kickstarter will provide you with 32mm, 75mm, and 120mm scale STLs. The Kickstarter will also provide you with like the second tier, the Outrider tier, would provide you with PDF format painting guides for the 75mm and 120mm. And for the highest tier, which is the Forge Master, we will provide you with painting videos so that you could really follow the painting of the figure. So like I said, this project, this video that you see right now will not be part of the Kickstarter. Like most of the painting will be painting over black primer and mostly with the Army Painter Warpaints Fanatic. Now going back to the video, I started with speed paints because this is just test painting. And I love speed paints when it comes to like sketching like a really quick painting of what colors to use on the model. So I use the speed paints to guess which colors to use on the model. I know that I want the armor, like the NMM, to be silvery or chrome-ish on some areas or some parts, and then I want the model to have a desaturated finish on the other side and a very warm finish on like the rear side of the miniature. But I'm really undecided during the painting which colors to use on the model. So eventually I decided to paint blue hair and then lots of non-metallic metal and then of course the skulls. And I know my speed paints because I love them. So I know which colors to use in terms of sketching the initial base colors. You may or may not notice in the video that I apply speed paints in two passes. I let dry the previous layer and then apply a second layer so that I have like a more solid, a more full coverage of the color. Since I plan to use the speed paints as not my one coat solution but my base colors. So you might also notice in the video that I'm really sloppy with the speed paints. I don't care if like I paint over the skin or whatsoever. I'm just like putting on the color so that I have a pretty good idea of the overall like colors that I need to use on the miniature. I'm not even concerned with like creating volume with my speed painting. I just let the speed paints do its thing. Now, after maybe just an hour, I'm finished with the speed paint base color. Now, I have a clear idea on the direction or the colors that I'll use on the model as I do the layering. Before I did the layering though, I decided to use some shades and washes to really make some areas darker than the rest of the areas. This is to really like establish where my light source would be. So I applied multiple layers of the Warpaints Fanatic washes on the shade areas. Here you see in the video, I'm adding more warm washes on the base on the soil or groundwork because you still see like the zenithal underpainting. Like you see it through the speed paint, so I would needed to make it darker. Also, I'm applying more dark tone skin shades on the shade areas of the skin, and of course some more like dark tone washes on the non-metallic metal parts. So it took me less than maybe 30 minutes to do this, and then I let the washes dry, and now I have a darker finish to the base colors. Now this is really nice to do layering on top because you have a darker foundation and your highlighting will be a bit more prominent. Now, since this video was not intended to like really show you which colors I use, which Warpaints Fanatic I use in terms of the layering on top of the foundation colors, which are speed paints and washes. So it's a matter of just making sure that I layer up towards the highlights to create more volume as I paint the Warpaints Fanatic colors on top of the base colors. So the main, like, not problem, but, well, okay, problem. The main problem with using washes and speed paints when painting your miniatures is, of course, you don't create texture. So notice in the video as I layer up to lighter colors on top of the dark speed paints foundation base color, I try to create more textures on the different elements of the model. A combination of stippling, cross-hatching, like really quick scuffs or straight fine lines, and a little bit of scribbling with the different like parts of the miniature created more interest to my painting. And of course, textures that would really show you the details of the model. Now you see in the video, I'm establishing the areas hit by the OSL. I decided to add OSL on the rear side and the left side of the model to add more warm color to the overall look of the model. Because after painting with the speed paint, since I wanted desaturated like colors, it was a little bit too desaturated for me. So I established the OSL areas by painting with desaturated violets. I started with this color so that I create like some areas would be highlighted by the ambient lighting and some areas would be the foundation for the red OSL, red to orange OSL. I must say, and I think it's obvious that I enjoyed painting the boots, like the boots of this figure so much. I think it's my first time to really see details on the boots because if you paint tinier or smaller 32 millimeter miniatures, you don't really see the details of the boots. Now, of course, layering, especially layering with texturing in mind, is very time consuming. Like, I painted the speed paints for roughly an hour, maybe two, but I think just an hour. And then I applied the washes for another hour. But the painting and the layering with the Warpaints Fanatic, I think it took me, maybe a couple of days, maybe even 3 days to really finish the model. Now, after painting with desaturated violets, which became the foundation for the OSL, I started painting the red colors. But I think I started with angelic red, which is in the warm red striate. It's an orangey red color, which is perfect for the OSL. So now it's just a matter of layering up with the warm red striad and really paint, making sure that I create volume as I paint the OSL, and also make sure as I paint the lighter colors, the almost like yellow oranges, I make sure that areas or materials in the model will be shinier than the other parts of the model. Like the non-metallic metal will be a little bit shinier. However, the OSL or the source of the OSL, the light, is like farther away from some metallic parts. So the most intense areas of the OSL would be the groundwork and of course the skull, and eventually it kind of like spread through the rest of the model just to add more color to the painting. Now, after painting the side of the OSL, it's just painting off the non-metallic metal because the skin, we've established it with speed paints already. It's just a little bit of highlighting to really like refine the painting of the skin. But again, this is just test painting. I'm pretty happy with the result so far at this point of the video because I could really imagine the painting of the bigger scale, the 75 millimeter, because again this is just 50 millimeter. So like I said, this project will not be the source of the tutorials in the Kickstarter because the painting here is very loose. I did not even take photos of like the progress of the painting. I just like grabbed some Warpaints Fanatic and added colors, some purple, some violets here and there, a bit of magenta as I finished the painting of the miniature. So at this point of the painting, since we've laid down the colors and the OSL, the effects, and of course the main patches of the light areas, like the main patches of light colors on some of the non-metallic metal areas, it's a matter of just creating more texture, applying more textures to the painting so that it looks more complex. It looks more interesting. So a lot of scuffs on the NMM, a lot of like a bit of glazing actually, but I did not show it in this video. But of course, I'll show it in the tutorials. And I did a bit of blending on the non-metallic metal. I made the shoulder shinier than the other part so that you could see that that will be the main like angle or direction of the main source of light. I'm the least happy with the painting of the skin and of course the eyes, but again, this is just test painting, so it's okay. Now, before our final thoughts, I would like to thank all of you guys, my viewers. The channel is growing, and of course, my patrons. And special thanks to Army Painter for making this video possible. Now I'm pretty happy with the result. I like the painting of the hair. I painted like violets on the side of the OSL and a ton of highlights on like the left top part of the model because that will be the main source of light. I'm happy with the non-metallic metal, although it could be better. I'm thinking of like separate parts when I create the tutorial so that it would be more focused for the Kickstarter, but not really sure. We're still planning ahead, but we'll make sure that of course the painting will be better. With this one, it's like establishing the mood of the painting. I needed to paint this figure for the posters, for the promotions, and like for the Kickstarter, and of course for this video. So I do hope you support our Kickstarter. It will have tons of PDF tutorials. Like the second tier will have tutorials on NMM, TMM, skin, hair painting, leather, OSL, ambient lighting, basically the anatomy of painting miniatures. Will explain it in the PDF. It will be like a booklet in digital form though. And of course, I'm really happy that Army Painter supports the Kickstarter, and that's super awesome. And we'll also have some video tutorials exclusive to like the backers, the highest tier, the Forge Master backers that will have video tutorials. I'm also thinking of a live stream, but I'm not really sure if people like that. But it should be awesome. The main focus of the Kickstarter is to provide you with this figure STL, which you could print so that you could easily follow all the tutorials and really level up your painting with us. And it's very exciting, but I'm nervous too if the project will be backed. But I do hope you back the project. We will launch the project on the 15th. I'm not sure what time, so do tell me what time you want me to launch our Kickstarter. That's it, Pansit. I hope you like this video. Do like, subscribe, and all that stuff because it helps the channel a lot. And until my next video, guys. Bye! If you like this video, you might like this other Army Painter videos.